Friday was one of the most embarrassing days for the United States in a very long time. And it happened because after Donald Trump had American soldiers literally crawling around on their hands and knees, laying out a red carpet for Vladimir Putin, the brutal dictator Putin showed up, conceded nothing, and made Trump look even dumber than when Kim Jong-un tricked him with his fake concessions. Putin didn't even give him any concessions. And truly the biggest foreign policy humiliation of Donald Trump's political career. And that really says a lot. So let's zoom out. The context here: Trump's going to Alaska, where Putin will meet him. They're going to have a tough conversation where Trump might even get Putin to end the Ukraine war. None of that happened. And in fact, the very nature of the meeting taking place already framed Putin as the dominant one, as the strong one. And with the entire world watching, who came out stronger? It is abundantly clear that it was not Donald Trump and not the United States. Now let's get back to the optics for a moment. As I mentioned, American soldiers rolling out a red carpet for Vladimir Putin, where we have a brutal dictator who disappears dissidents, who has seen adversarial journalists accidentally fall out of a hospital window or stab themselves in the back. You know, you hear these crazy things which are meant to be unbelievable. That's part of the game. Of course that didn't happen. Of course they were ordered killed. But Trump rolls out almost like they were royalty on American soil, the red carpet, and he's laughing and he's hugging and doing all of this. And the symbolism of these American troops bowing down before Putin's plane to lay out a red carpet, these are optics of subservience. These are optics of Trump, not an alpha, even though he claims to be, but of a wannabe alpha who's enamored by these dictators and authoritarian strongmen who rule with an iron fist. It would be easier for Trump to just be able to disappear journalists the way Putin does, rather than having to deal with questions he doesn't like when he does a press conference. It would be better for Trump to be able to just say, "You're off the air," when there's a channel that's reporting things that Donald Trump doesn't like. And so all of the optics were humiliating. This then gets us to the outcome, or the lack thereof. What did we get from this so-called summit? Well, even though Trump announced it went very well, we had a lot of points of agreement. Understand the reality of what we got. Vladimir Putin conceded nothing. Vladimir Putin did not make a single commitment. He didn't agree to even one reform. He didn't agree to any kind of change to what he is doing and to what he plans to do in Ukraine. He didn't do any of it. Now, I was sort of thinking back to the Kim Jong-un summit when Donald Trump made a big deal out of going out to meet with Kim Jong-un. And there was even this photo op where Donald Trump stepped into the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. And it was all so incredible. And Trump said, "We won, we did it." And all he got from Kim Jong-un were the same sort of vague commitments to, denuclearization, or, stuff that North Korean leaders have been saying for decades. Kim Jong-un's dad said this sort of stuff. Kim Jong-un's grandpappy said this sort of stuff, and they never do it. And because Donald Trump is so naive and so little understands history, Trump thought that it was a real success, that he got real concessions out of Kim Jong-un. They were fake concessions. Well, the Putin summit was even dumber. The Putin summit didn't even lead to fake concessions that Putin has no intention of actually carrying out. It was just really a photo op for Vladimir Putin more than anything else. After the Kim Jong-un summit, Trump could at least wave around paperwork. It was meaningless paperwork. It was unenforceable paperwork. But with Putin, he has nothing. He has no leverage. He didn't get a single win. It's just a global humiliation. Now, from Vladimir Putin's perspective, of course he would do this. Think about it. Simply being invited legitimizes Vladimir Putin. Putin is an anti-democratic, authoritarian, dictatorial strongman. And so when a nominal democracy like the United States says, come for a summit, we're going to have, what did they have? A green salad with champagne vinaigrette and surf and turf, right?
Oh, Vladimir Putin says,
whoa, Trump coming out of nowhere there. Speaking, we'll get to that in a moment. When you do this to a guy as anti-democratic as Putin, you legitimize him. You legitimize Russia. You say, hey, you know what? The way you have run your country with an iron fist and oppression and all of it gets rewarded by a beautiful lunch and meeting with the president of the United States. It gives Putin a major propaganda boost back at home. And the narrative for Putin to go back there is, look at how big and strong I am. They literally laid out a red carpet for me. Did you see what happened when I went to the United States? Putin can now say they had soldiers on their hands and knees in uniforms, putting a red carpet right up to my plane. And the president sat there. By the way, Putin made Trump wait. I mean, it's unbelievable. Is it cuckoldry? The people who were black-pilled or whatever on the internet were saying Trump was cucked by Putin, not phraseology I would use, but this is the exposure of Donald Trump's weakness. Trump comes off looking desperate. He comes off looking submissive. No defense of American interests was put forward during this summit. And you contrast it with others. Put aside for a moment that when Barack Obama met with Putin, the dynamics were very different. Putin didn't get a red carpet. Putin wasn't glad-handed by Barack Obama. Obama made it clear who was in charge. But even look at other instances with Biden in Geneva, where he brought up the issue of human rights and set boundaries. Trump grins for the camera, leaves empty-handed with nothing. So if you voted for Trump because he was going to be America first and because he was going to finally restore America's reputation around the world, how do you look at this and say, boy, am I proud? He really did us well, Donald Trump. People see weakness, adversaries see opportunity, and the person celebrating this the most, I saw these videos floating around from Mar-a-Lago where Trump's club goers were saying, you did so good, Mr. President. The real person now in a position to celebrate is Vladimir Putin. And Trump had no choice after the summit but to run to Sean Hannity for what was supposed to be a friendly interview. All right, so we all know Alexa listens to us, recommends products based on our conversations. Meta retargets us based on our browsing and engagement history. Have you wondered what ChatGPT and Claude are up to with your conversations? We feed so much of our information to these AI chatbots, thoughts, dreams, sensitive questions, business ideas. They take the information, tie it to your identity, and they can sell that to third parties and governments. ChatGPT has the former director of the NSA on their board right now. That doesn't feel awesome. It took us a long time to truly understand what social media companies were doing with our data. We don't have to make the same mistake with AI. And that's why I've started using Venice AI, a generative AI platform that is private and permissionless. They don't spy on you. Venice AI won't censor the AI. They have a safe mode, which you can turn off for both text and image generation. Messages are encrypted. Your conversation history is only stored on your browser. I love the Pro plan because I get upgraded features like uploading files, unlimited text prompts. Check it out. If you want to use AI without censorship or fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or the government, go to venice.ai/Pakman and use code Pakman to get 20% off their Pro plan. The link is in the description.